One day, you open Roblox and search for a game you have played 100 times. You click the link your friend sent you, and instead of a loading screen, you get nothing. The page is gone. The game doesn't exist anymore. That is exactly what happened to over 1 million players on April 9th, 2018. The game was called Pokémon Brick Bronze. And if you never played it, you missed something that most Roblox veterans still talk about, like something they lost and never quite replaced. It had over 1.5 billion visits. Let that number sit for a second. 1.5 billion. On a platform built around short sessions and 5-minute games, a small team of Roblox developers had built something so deep, so detailed, so genuinely good that players were spending dozens of hours inside it. Some players spent hundreds. And then, one afternoon, with no warning, it was gone. So why did Roblox delete it? The answer is not what most people assume. And once you understand it, you will never look at fan-made games the same way again. Pokémon Brick Bronze was created by a developer known as Lando64000, alongside a small but seriously dedicated team. They started building it in 2015. Not a quick cash grab, not a lazy template clone. They built an entirely original Pokémon region called Roria, complete with custom routes, custom towns, original story beats, gym leaders, rival characters, and a fully designed post-game that honestly rivaled what official Nintendo titles were releasing at the time. This was not a copy-paste job, it was a love letter. The team scripted the entire battle system from scratch using Roblox's Lua programming language. They designed hundreds of three-dimensional Pokémon models. They built a functional day-night cycle, coded working weather systems, and gave every town in the region its own personality and atmosphere. Players could trade with each other. They could battle. They could grind for hours chasing a shiny. They could lose themselves in Roria for weeks on end. And for 3 years, nothing happened. That is the part that surprises most people. Pokémon Brick Bronze sat publicly on the Roblox platform for 3 full years before anything changed. It grew quietly at first, then explosively. By 2018, it was one of the most visited games on the entire platform. YouTubers were making complete Let's Play series. Dedicated communities formed around it. Trading servers existed for the in-game economy. Fan art circulated across every corner of the internet. For a huge number of younger players, Pokémon Brick Bronze was their first real Pokémon experience. Not a Nintendo game, a Roblox game. And then the Pokémon Company noticed. On April 9th, 2018, the Pokémon Company, which manages intellectual property on behalf of Nintendo, submitted a dmca takedown notice directly to Roblox. DMCA stands for the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. It is the legal mechanism that gives a rights holder the power to say, "This thing uses our property without permission and it needs to be removed." When a valid DMCA notice arrives, a platform like Roblox is legally required to act fast. Failing to act would expose Roblox Corporation itself to serious legal liability. The game came down within hours. The developers did not fight it. They could not. They had used Pokémon's name, Pokémon's characters, Pokémon's artwork, and Pokémon's entire creative framework, all without any license or agreement. No license means no legal protection, and Nintendo has historically been one of the most aggressive companies in the world when it comes to protecting its intellectual property. There is no villain in this story. That is the strange part. Lando64000 and the team did not steal anything out of greed or malice. They built something out of pure love, and they built it for free. You never paid a single Robux to play Pokémon Brick Bronze. The whole thing was a gift. But love does not override copyright law. And the scale of what they built, 1.5 billion visits, a fully realized RPG world that rivaled official titles, was precisely the kind of thing that gets noticed. Think about it from Nintendo's side. When a fan project becomes more popular than your actual product inside a specific space, it starts to compete with you whether it intends to or not. A player who spends 200 hours in Pokémon Brick Bronze may never feel the same urgency to buy an official Pokémon title. From a legal standpoint, the larger the fan project grows, the larger the potential damage becomes. The bigger Pokémon Brick Bronze got, the more it guaranteed its own end. The community response was massive. Petitions appeared online within hours. Twitter threads went viral for days. Players wrote long, emotional posts about what the game had meant to them. Some people called it the greatest Pokémon experience they had ever had, better than any official game. That says something real about what the team achieved. It also says something real about exactly why it had to go. Lando64000 posted a short message after the takedown. He thanked the players, he thanked his team. There was no bitterness in it, no accusations. He knew the rules the entire time. He just hoped the game would last a little longer than it did. It did not. The game data still exists in archived form. The team kept their files. But you will never play Pokémon Brick Bronze through Roblox again. The page is gone. The servers are gone. And every player who was in the middle of a playthrough lost their saves, their Pokémon, their entire progress in a single afternoon. Here is what you take from this. Every time you open a Roblox game that uses characters, music, logos, or worlds from something you already love, you are playing something with an expiration date. Maybe a short one, maybe a long one, but an expiration date all the same. The history of Roblox is full of these games. Some disappeared quietly, some went out with entire communities in mourning. Pokémon Brick Bronze went out like a star, bright for 3 years, then gone in an afternoon. Next time you open Roblox and load into a fan-made game built from something you love, spend a little longer in it. Pay attention to what the developers built, because one day you might search for it and find nothing where it used to be. That is exactly what happened to over 1 million players on April 9th, 2018. Except now, unlike them on that day, you know exactly why.